Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Lie that they're trying to spread, okay? This lie has to do with the whistleblower form. The actual form. They updated their form and they simplified their form, and the form now has boxes where you check off, do you have firsthand knowledge, or did you hear this from somebody in the organization that you work in, or was it somebody outside the organization, okay? So they changed the form. Now they're going to lie that the rules were changed for whistleblowers. The form has boxes on it now. The rules have not changed.
You're saying this is hearsay. The complaint on a number of fronts is matched by the call
The transcript and the complaint are not matched.
Yes,
the reference
they
to the
are.
agency's server.
Please let me talk.
Will you
Please,
do
please.
a favor? I'm laying out the facts here.
No, you're not.
The
No, you're making an
repeated
argument
reference to
that-
Joe Biden. All
Here's the
those
point.
things
Joe
are laid out
Biden
here. The
went
fact
to
that the
the-
Attorney General was
Never
brought
mind.
up.
You know, you've got an opinion, I got an opinion. You got me on the show to tell me what I think. I think Mueller did a good job for the country and there was nothing there. I think this whole thing is a sham. I can't believe we're talking about impeaching the president based on an accusation based on hearsay. Who is this whistleblower? What bias do they have? Why did they pick this whistleblower to tell a hearsay story? The transcript does not match the complaint.
Yes, it
What's
does.
going on here? Why did they change the rules about a whistleblower?
They didn't.
You can use hearsay when you could not, just weeks before the complaint. So I think this thing stinks.
did
And let me
not
tell you about
happen.
Republicans. You want to know about Republicans?
Yeah.
Republicans believe that you're guilty just by the accusation. If you're Brett Kavanaugh, it doesn't matter. They don't tell you when it happened and where it happened. It just happened 30 years ago. If you're Donald Trump, you don't get to confront your accuser like every other American. Republicans believe this president's being persecuted. They don't love Donald Trump and the way he does business. They like what he does, but they believe he's being persecuted. They believe that everybody's out to get him. And I believe, as to this complaint, it smells.
You smell. Honestly, this is so unbelievable. All right, so here's the thing. They are now going to produce this new lie that that with the whistleblower law changed in August, and that it changed in this way. You don't have to have firsthand knowledge. You could have secondhand knowledge. People can come to you and they could tell you stuff. And even if it's alarming and even if you find it credible and urgent, you can't report it unless you were on the call or you actually witnessed something. And that is a lie. Nothing has changed in the law. Okay? Nothing. This all comes from another obscure little form. It is called the ICIG ICWSP Form 401. Sure, we all know that form. I only know it because this was a lie I kept hearing all week, and I said, what the hell is this new lie? What is this fresh hell, right? It's called Disclosure of Urgent Concern Form. It is a document that is put out by the Inspector General for intelligence workers who need to file urgent complaints that trigger special treatment under the Intelligence Community Whistleblower Protection Act. And let me make this nice and simple for you. You know how we have some whistleblowers that didn't go through this, this procedure, that didn't fill out these forms, and they're sitting in jail because they went to the press? Well, that's what this whistleblower law that we've had since 2004 or 2003, that's why this form exists. So that people won't break the law and they won't go to the press and they won't go outside and they won't do stuff like that. That puts the intelligence community at risk or the United States national security at risk. So they go internally. It's sort of like the cops, they got internal affairs, right? So, okay. The old version of this form is different from the new version of this form in that the new version now has boxes that you can check. A question on the form explicitly anticipates that tips will come in from secondhand information. So it asks the whistleblower to check a box. Here is what the boxes on this 401 form say. Quote, I have direct and personal knowledge, or I heard about it from others. That's it. That's the change on the form. Now they're going to say they changed the rules that you used to not be. That's a lie. It's just a lie. Now, why are they out here lying? Why are they out here misrepresenting that Joe Biden actually went to Ukraine and said, please start investigating this mess of oligarchs, okay? That your businesses are controlled by the mob, and you need to purge yourself of this, and you need to make Ukraine more attractive for foreign investment. And until and unless you investigate these criminals that are running your biggest businesses, you will never, ever be able to attract foreign investment, and you will always be under the thumb of Russia. You will never be free. But you want democracy, so this is how you do it. You got to purge the justice system of these fake, phony prosecutors who prosecute journalists but don't prosecute mob bosses. And yes, it's hard, and yes, it's something that's scary to do, but you have to do it. Now, if they would have done it, maybe they would have found that stuff was going on in this Burisma where Hunter Biden had joined in 2014. But they never did. They never investigated it. And therein lies the dilemma. So what does Trump do? Donald Trump becomes the president, and he then calls up the new president of Ukraine, who is an actor by trade, but was overwhelmingly elected by the Ukrainian people because they wanted an outsider. Just like you wanted a reality TV star, they wanted somebody who played a president on TV, and they picked Zelensky. Donald Trump calls up Zelensky, and he says, hi, blah, 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 and, we're here for you. And he says, well, we'd like to buy weapons from the United States to defend ourselves from this hot war. We really are fighting Russian interference. We're fighting Russian boots on the ground. They're called Russian separatists who want to separate Ukraine from democracy and move Ukraine towards Russia again. Okay? And 13,000 people to this day have died in this battle. And it's a real war. And he said, we really want to buy weapons from the United States. And Trump says right after he says that, well, I need a favor, though. And then tells Zelensky he wants dirt on Biden and Biden's son. That's called extortion. It's also extortion that has to do with a United States ally that fights one of the biggest threats that the United States faces in this world, Russia. So you can see how this extortion would be a very terrible thing for the national security of the United States. He extorts an ally for his personal re-election benefit. You remember the Russia, if you're listening, I hope you can find the 30,000 emails. This is Zelensky, you better listen. I want Hillary Clinton's server. And for some reason, he believes a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory that says that CrowdStrike, which is based in Irvine, California, put Hillary Clinton's server in Ukraine. It's a conspiracy theory that's been debunked 80 billion times. But we have a president that believes in conspiracy theories and is extorting an ally for that same stupid email story. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.